Hello, I'm Kendra, and here at Hooked by Happenstance, it is time for another installment of Freaker Frog. What is Freaker Frog, you may ask? Well, it is my ongoing series where I face the fear of the unfinished. I pull out some of my woebegone whips and decide what I'm going to do with them. Am I going to freak out and put them onto my on the hook list? Or am I going to frog them, reclaim that yarn, and turn good yarn into good projects? Because good yarn does not belong in bad projects. Today, in celebration of 2018, don't worry, my celebrating of 2018 will be over after this week, I think. But in celebration of the new year, I decided that rather than going to the drawer, where most of my whips are housed, we are going to look at my on the hook list. So here we have my on the hook list. It is a physical manifestation of all of the projects I am working on. And it's a little haphazard and a little messy because, well, so am I. Basically, I take these are index cards have been cut in half, and I write the project on them. On the bottom, it says the first time you saw them, like this one came from Freaker Frog number 4, and it was in July of 2017, so I kind of know how long things have been on my hook. And they're just kind of up here in a haphazard order. Sometimes I get a bee in my bonnet, and I go and I line some things up that I want to start to tackle, and other times they just kind of hang out. So currently on this list, there are 15 items, which I think is everything that I am currently working on. It is at least everything that I have remembered to make a card for, and I think that's everything at the moment. The plan today is to make some choices. I'm going to pick a project that I'm actively going to work on this week. I'm going to pick one that I want to keep, but is not going to be at the forefront of my thought currently, and I'm going to frog one. So by the end of today, I will have frogged 5 items, put 5 on the back burner, and brought 5 to the forefront. So let's take a peek at the list and make some choices. First thing I'm going to do is figure out which projects I ultimately, definitely want the end product of. I know that some of these are very much things that I want to finish. So first, let's just move. We'll just clear some space here. Okay. I know that I want the Lodge sweater and the weather bracken for very, very sure. I also know that I want my office rug and the Better Mood blanket, which is going to be ultimately the cover for my chair. So those things are definitely 4 things that I want. Is there anything that I know that and I want the Jungle Ring toy. I want it finished at this point just out of principle because it has been so long in the making. I am not going to end the Freaker Frog project without getting this one done. Okay, so is there anything I know that I can just frog? I'm going to say the pineapple ornament cover could disappear and I would not be sad. So we'll put this one into the frog pile. Oh, cat-friendly curtain. I have already finished one of the 2 curtains, and just by having 2 windows in this room, I've discovered I only need 1 curtain. I move it back and forth sometimes, and I actually, with my new office setup, have put a piece of chiffon in this window because it just seems to work better with the lighting. So I don't think I need this at all, so I can frog that. I also, oh gosh, now we're getting down to where I have to start making choices. Oh, I also want to keep the square deal sweater. I know that's one that I want to finish. And I also want to finish the tie-dye skirt dress thing. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And this is 8. And this one's gonna be 9. My rainbow baby mat. And 10 is going to be, I guess at this point, is the high wire shawl, because I still want to work on that project. So I'm going to also go ahead and frog my Sarah Nova _ poncho, which is a poncho I've been trying to make multiple times with yarn I got from Jessica, who is Sarah Nova Crafts, and it just keeps not turning out the way I want. Though I have gotten to the point with what I've made that I figured out that I don't have quite enough yarn to do what I was thinking with just that yarn, so I'm going to frog it and think about it and maybe just make something completely different. But that'll go in the frog section as well. And Steve's balaclava, well, I want to finish making it. As we were putting it together, it is coming very apparent that it is not quite sized correctly, so I'm going to take the numbers off the pattern that I've made so far, make the corrections, and start over. So we will frog that as well. And that also leaves me with the Yarn Fairy baby blanket, which I actually probably need to frog anyways because there is a skein of the white yarn, which I want to use in the tie-dye skirt turned dress, that I think it would help me if I had an extra skein of yarn. There's one skein of that yarn in this project, so I will also go ahead and frog this baby blanket. So that is my 5 frog projects. Now, which 5 of these am I going to actively pursue? I would say I will actively pursue the rainbow baby mat because I'm going to go to VKN tonight, and that is a really good VKN project. Also going to pursue the Lodge sweater because I'm pretty far along on that, and also that would be another good thing to work on during the VKN because it's very like, I'm at a point where it's mindless. And the square deal sweater, also super simple that I could work on here quickly. I'm working on the back right now and it's about halfway done. So this is also getting close to being done. So that's 3. I would say that the Jungle Ring toy, I just need to do this because this is the one that keeps getting put off because it is the one that I want done the most but want to do the least. And finally, my 5th one that I want to actively work on, well, if I can find where I put the fabric, I don't remember. I think the chicken boxer project bag. It is a pair of boxers from the very first batch of boxers I sewed for my husband back when we were in high school, and they finally gave up the ghost because, you know, even when they're homemade, they don't last forever. But the fabric is still intact in large portions, and I would like to myself a project bag because I love this fabric and I love these boxers, and it's just, they're sentimental. So, but I should just make it so that I can take this off my board because I can't frog this. It's fabric, but I do need to put a little bit of effort into finishing it. So we'll put that over here also as things that I'm going to actively work on. And that leaves things that are putting on the back burner are going to be my high wire shawl, which is a design project that's in process. My tie-dye skirt, which I'm turning into a dress by putting the top portion on, which is going to be, again, it's almost like a design project because I'm making up the pattern myself and it's a little fiddly and it's not going to be warm enough for me to wear it till the spring anyways. So there's not a huge rush on that. We have the weather bracken, which is going to be a decent amount of work. I think that I'm going to take that with me when I go to California to work on, and that'll be good. It's going to be an invested project, but it's also kind of simple, so that'll be a good one to take with me. And then we have my Better Mood blanket, which is ultimately going to be the cover for my chair. And I do want to get it done, but it's not like I can wear it, so it keeps bumping itself down the list. And same thing for the rug for my office. It's not like there is a huge hurry on this, but I would like it completed. So, 5 back burner projects, 5 things I'm going to tackle starting tonight, and 5 things I'm going to frog. Before the frogging begins, I've pulled all the projects out. So here we have the Yarn Fairy baby blanket. These are all baby yarns, which I've been yarn fairied by different people, and not a huge fan of baby yarn. I just don't make baby projects. They're impractical in my life. They don't sell. I frankly don't really like them. So I've been trying to find other things to do with the baby yarn. I'm going to make some toys maybe. I should probably try that. But anyways, here is the white yarn that I would like to put into the other project that I'm working on. And when I was going through the project bag, I found there's a whole ball in here. And this, so I have way more yarn than I thought I had. So that is going to mean my sleeves get to be full length, I think. So that's exciting. Here is the balaclava I've been making for my husband. This is out of Lion Brand Woolies in the color Wood, I believe. Something like that. So I just need to take a few notes about the number of rows I did of things, so that way I can fix the next one that I make. Then here is the pineapple ornament cover made out of some crochet thread that I had been yarn fairyed as well. I just wanted to try this out because I've always wanted to make some of these. And yeah, they're not my favorite thing, but I would probably definitely make some in the future. Here's the cat-friendly curtain. This is the edging. It's completely done. I just never got around to sewing the curtain part, but at this point I don't really need it. So I'm kind of glad I never finished it. So I will go ahead and frog that. And then here is the poncho I was making using the crochet baby blanket wavy chevron maybe pattern by Jessica from Ravelry. So I'm going to go ahead and frog that too. And this is made out of Araucania yarn. So okie dokie, time to get to frogging. It is approximately an hour and 10 minutes later. And here is the yarn that I reclaimed. So this is going to go with my project to make the top for a dress. These are going back into my baby yarn stash. This is going to still become a balaclava for my husband eventually, but it's going to go hang out with the rest of my wool stuff for now. This is going to go back in with the crochet thread, dishcloth cotton, and this will go into my special stash of yarn just for projects for me. So I was looking at the projects that I was going to frog. Of the 5 of them, 3 of them I started in August of 2017. So I was kind of, just trying to analyze like how or why was I making poor choices, because obviously I was picking projects that were not necessarily things that I really wanted to follow through with. Why was I doing that? And I realized that I picked those projects immediately after the county fair. So I had made projects for the fair with the fair in mind, and they were also projects that were somewhat like, especially once I had turned in my paperwork and said these are the things that I'm doing, they were things that were kind of like I needed to get them done. There was an obligation to them. So then afterwards, I was kind of burned out from doing projects, but I still wanted to do more things. So I think that I made some poor choices because of the stress of the previous projects I had undertaken. That is kind of what I am thinking. Of course, if I went back and looked at the other things I completed in August, maybe I could tell you differently. But I do know that I completed a lot of projects around that time, and most of the things that got done were things that were like passion projects, where I suddenly was like, ooh, I love this idea, and then I would just run with it till it was done. Anyways, now these have been dealt with and sorted, and I have reclaimed the good yarn out of the bad projects. So I'm going to go and put these away, and I will see you all next time. Bye!